hear it from there for a second.
Encouragement sweetens labour.
Say that again?
Encouragement sweetens labour.
All right. Okay.
And I think the job centre should adopt that, some people in there.
Maybe make a song called Encouragement Sweetens Labour and promote it. Get the message out there.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm Councillor Merium and lead member for Children and Families, and first, sorry that I was late, but I did have a very pressing meeting about my ward, which always has to come first. So thank you very much for inviting me. And it's really great news, actually, about passing the baton, because I think in Brent we do need to hear an awful lot more about the Olympics, and you're doing that, and it's good to see all the support here. Two things, really. I just wondered if people knew about the Get Set network in schools. Probably you've talked about this already, but I know all the schools aren't yet signed up to it, and December is the deadline. So if anybody's school governor or parents, whatever, can you ask whether your school's signed up to the Get Set network, because that gives them, the schools, the involvement in the Olympics. And the other thing to say really is that, you know, in Brent and right across the council, I'm sure Anne John said this already, but in children and families and education, we are very much partners with the community and with schools, and we have, as people have been saying, got some absolutely tremendous young people in our schools. Our GCSE results are above the national average in our secondary schools now, including with English and maths. And I've just heard about A-level results today, so that we've above the national average with our A-level results, but we have made immense progress in getting more children to take 3 qualifications as opposed to just 1, so we're sort of closing that gap with the distance travelled. So we have got some really fantastic young people. They are creative, and I think sometimes I worry that the schools just concentrate on the results and not all the other things, such as the cultural and heritage things, the sports, all the things that our children are so good at. And so really I just wanted to give you the message that in the council we are working very hard now on the sort of economic development side of our work to make sure that those jobs are starting to come forward, whether young people are going to go to university, we know that costs a lot of money, or whether it's maybe apprenticeships, or, you know, jobs. So we're trying to build the capacity of business in our community, whether it's voluntary, social enterprise or commercial business, to make sure that our skillful, creative, knowledgeable young people can also stay in the borough and give that back. So let's do it together.
Thank you for that. That's also part of this programme, Passing the Baton, is about developing people, that's young people and adults, and actually supporting mentors. And I've agreed to support Leslie Cooper here. Leslie is a mentor. If you could just stand up, Leslie. I'm not going to ask you to speak, don't worry. And his mentee is Dwayne. And basically, the model that we're developing now for our youth ambassadors. So we work with a mentor and a mentee. So Dwayne will actually be going back to his school, his high school, secondary school, where he did quite well. We'll be working with him so that the Get Set programme the school is more familiar with it, and then part of his passing the baton role will be mentoring and coaching other youngsters with the support of this programme. So, and then also supporting what Leslie's doing as a mentor, shadowing some of us who are doing some of the work that we're doing. So we have thought about, in a sense, the mechanism for passing the baton to work effectively. Thank you. Right. Anyone else? Yes?
Right, my name's Rita. I'm the 2012 manager within Brent Council. I'm pregnant, so I'm sitting down. If I stand up, it's the back a bit too much. I'm quite heavily pregnant now. I think, yeah, it's great that you guys have got the Inspire mark, and it's great actually that to see the community going out and getting the Inspire mark themselves, because, you know, we've done a lot of work in the council. We have probably, including your own now across Brent, we have about 9 or 10 Inspire mark programmes. So it's brilliant that it's come into the collective of what we're doing within Brent, but it's even better and more positive to know that you're going out, that the community have been able to go out and do it themselves rather than wait for the council, because we don't have a team leading on the Olympics. It has just been myself to date leading on this work. I just wanted to pick up on a couple of things. Councillor Merium mentioned the Get Set programme. We need to ensure that all of our schools are signed up to the Get Set network by the 16th of December in order for them to be able to access free tickets to Olympic and Paralympic events. That's 1 in 8 young people across London will be, from 11 to 18, will be allocated a ticket to the Olympic and Paralympic Games. So, you know, huge opportunities there for young people to access tickets when we know there are hardly any tickets around at the moment anyway. And just in terms of the work around young people, that is one of the values which is very core to us in the council in terms of our 2012 action plan. We have an Inspiring Brent Young Ambassadors programme working with 14 to 18-year-olds, and the role of those young people, and that programme has also received London 2012 Inspire Mark, is about inspiring communities, inspiring other young people to do things. So it would be useful really to be able to have a conversation with you offline about how we try and bring you into some of the work that we're doing internally.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments?
It's just a quick question really about how...
What's your name, please?
Sorry, Marilyn Devonish.
Okay.
And it's, I guess for me, one of the my frustrations sometimes is looking at all these great initiatives, but not actually being able to do anything about them. And I have been lucky enough to work on a number of gang projects. I was lucky enough to spend a couple of years working in a school doing teaching accelerated learning and doing inspirational talks. But that was really because I happened to meet someone who said, I love what you're doing, you've got to come and work in my school or my area. But when you're on the outside looking in, you hear people talk about these initiatives and the things that they need and the skills that they want. One of the things that I find in many of my colleagues is like, well, how do you actually get involved? How do you actually get into and be part of the programme rather than just saying, I know I've got these skills, I know I could do some amazing work, but I've sent the letters, I've made the phone calls, and it's very, very challenging sometimes to actually get in and be part of it. So I guess what I'm really interested in is how do people actually get involved and share their skills and share their knowledge, rather than it just being a great meeting.
It's good that you came today, but you do have to be determined. Because even if you do know even how the system works and you can be in it, we do live in a competitive society. And that's why the more collaboration that there is, the better. Because there are people that can help you access the opportunities that exist. But you've got to, in a sense, put yourself in a position where you're working with others. Because none of us as individuals can do it on our own. And this is a good opportunity. And as was said earlier on, that it's not so much that we've been handed anything. As Duncan said, I had to get hold of the blank application form, read it, understand it, and then set out what I was going to deliver for the programme, and then work out who the partners would be, the realities of it. So it was many hours of sitting down. It wasn't turning up here and being able to present this. It really took a lot of work to do it. So, but then some of that's background and professional background. But the most important thing is going to be shared with the community. That we have got the Inspire mark in the way that we have it. But we'll be working across communities. And when we talk about the community, we mean the whole community. We don't mean one narrow section of the community. We don't think in terms of vested interest, and we think about the public, the private, the voluntary sector. So it's right across the whole community when we talk about community. And again, that's why we say peaceful, caring, and enterprising neighbourhoods, because all of us want to be able to walk around the neighbourhood, and feel comfortable being there. But we also know that in neighbourhoods there should be opportunities for the people that live there. And particularly, there's a great focus on the intergenerational relationships. So when we talk about health and well-being, we're talking about the older generation. We've actually got projects. We've got a project called Thinking Ahead, Respect and Dignity of Old. Thinking Ahead, and it's respect and dignity of older people. So again, that whole passing of knowledge and sharing of knowledge is so important. And so hopefully over the coming months, we've got a programme connected to do with carers. If you think of carers, you know, how much focus is put on them in terms of their well-being. We've got programmes related to mental health as well, particularly in our communities with that high prevalence of support that's needed around mental health. So,
did you see the story of Mother's Right?
Yeah. I'm of that generation. I'm of that generation.
Sorry, it was
Mother's Rock generation. Yeah, that's my generation. Right. Any other points before we? Right.
I
So.
just wanted to just say something.
Yes.